Long and lasting relationship requires communication skills. Let's talk about that a little bit. For true love and a true connection, joining us now is Susan Scott. She's the best-selling author of the book Fierce Love, Creating a Love That Lasts One Conversation at a Time. Welcome, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise.
Thank you for having me, John. It's a delight to see you.
Okay, let's jump right in here. Let's talk about this. For whatever reason, it seems that every day we're either experiencing an argument with a loved one, we're hearing about divorces. It seems that it's more prevalent than ever. Is this true? And if so, why?
Well, I think it is true. And why is because for most people, like for myself, no one modeled a wonderful way to express their love for one another or to resolve disagreements. And, you know, one of the women whose story I tell in this book said, my husband and I one or the other of us would get triggered and we would shut down, we'd leave, we'd slam doors, we wouldn't talk for a long time. And we just got to the place where it was really quiet in our home. We weren't lovers, we were just housemates. And each little comment seemed like a small diminishment, and you string them together over weeks and months and years, and it's as if we pulled off our own wings. And that's when she said, I want to learn how to get our wings back. And really that's what the book is about. For couples that are thriving and for couples that are struggling, this is a way to have 8 amazing conversations that bring us so much closer to our loved one.
Yeah, you feel that conversation is the relationship. So if you would, Susan, give us some tips on how to have meaningful dialogue.
Well, first of all, we have to understand that a relationship is going to thrive or flatline or fail gradually, then suddenly, one conversation at a time. So we always wake up when we arrive at a suddenly. I want us to stay awake during gradually. So one of the tips is stay current. And that includes letting your partner know specifically something that you really love about him. For example, my daughter the other day said to her husband, boy, I was watching you work with the girls on their homework, and I don't know how you got to be such a remarkable dad, but you are the best dad those girls could ever have. And you could just see him feeling so good about that. We don't do enough of that. You know, the occasional love you, honey, love you too, just doesn't quite get there. So we need to express our love in a way that it lands, but also we need to stay current if our partner does or says something that doesn't feel very good. We need to learn, rather than making up a story in our heads about what was going on with our partner or what he or she really meant, we need to say, hey, what you just said to me, gosh, that was a little hurtful. Can you tell me what's going on? And just inquire. So there are conversations about how to find out what's going on with your partner, how to address little feedback issues, how to confront when needed, how to stay current with one another, how to go deep. And I would add, John, that fierce love is all about connecting with your partner at a deep level, because physical attraction is fabulous and we all love it, but it's hard to sustain as we get older. So there needs to be a deeper connection, a deeper love. And these 8 conversations will get us there.
Susan, we've all heard people say to us, and they talk about, it's almost a cliche to say, you should love me unconditionally. You feel like unconditional love can be a very dangerous thing. Tell us why.
It's a terrible idea. I mean, I was talking, and this is one of the stories in the book, in that particular chapter. I was talking with a couple, and they were telling me everything that was going on in their lives, and I had a feeling something else was happening, and I asked, is there something you're not telling me? And they confessed that he had had an affair. They managed to get through it. It was really horrible, broke their hearts, barely survived, but they did. And she turned to him and said, you know, we believe in unconditional love, and there's nothing you could ever do that would cause me to leave you. And I think I shocked all 3 of us, John, when I jumped up out of my seat and I said, take that back. Take it back. You've just given him permission to have as many affairs as he might want to. And I said to him, I'm not suggesting that you plan to do that, but she has just given you permission. So look, there have to be conditions. We do teach people how to treat us, and we get what we tolerate. And so we need to be really clear. What are the essentials? What are the conditions that are absolutely required for me to be extremely happy in this relationship? Not just happy, but extremely happy in this relationship. So there's a conversation about clarifying conditions. There should just be a few of them. This is not a, gee, it would be nice if. These are the things that are absolutely required. But also checking in with our partner. What are your conditions? And making sure that there's not a conflict there.
Interesting. This sounds like these conversations are very direct. You may have already answered this question, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. You talk about 3 conversations that you can have that can deepen your relationship. So is one of those, hey, I need you to be, number one, faithful? I mean, I think that's a given, but it seems to me that that conversation sometimes is needed.
Well, yeah, actually, there are 8 conversations that get the job done over time, one at a time. And I think you're referring to conditions, yes. So if fidelity is a condition for you, as it is for most people, then you need to lay that out. Nina Simone, the wonderful singer, long gone, once said, "You have to learn to leave the table when love is no longer being served." And I thought, wow, that's amazing. So I don't want people to leave the table too early in a relationship just because things aren't going well. There are ways to resolve the things that aren't going well. In fact, the book begins with a really short poem by Hafiz, and it's all just a love contest, and I never lose. Now you have another good reason to spend time with me.
Susan, should these conversations, should they be organic or should they be direct and planned?
Both, John, absolutely both. I mean, each chapter has a true story about a couple, where they were in their relationship, why they needed to have a particular conversation, how they had it, with guidelines for how to have it. So you can read those guidelines and structure your own conversation. And your own conversation will be organic, but you'll have a roadmap, because a lot of people just don't know how to navigate through some of the issues that they have without getting triggered or triggering their partner and shutting down. So this is a way. All of these conversations are extremely loving, they're kind, but they're truthful as well. So, you know, even the last chapter is, I love you and I don't love our life together. This is a conversation where you're letting your partner know, I sort of can see what's on the end of my fork and it's not pretty and you're not there. You know, so something has to change.
Wow, this is such an interesting conversation. Real quickly, okay, this, to be transparent, this may be a little bit personal, but at times it seems that I'm trying to be positive. I'm talking about positive things and everything's going well, and suddenly she'll take a left turn and something negative comes up very suddenly out of nowhere. Is this because there's an underlying issue?
There probably is, and that's when, you know what, John, that's when I would counsel you to say, hey, hang on, what just happened here? You know, you took a left turn, and I thought we were doing so great. So can you tell me what's going on? Those are 8 magic words that we need to learn to use more often. So when something happens, so there's a shift. There's, you know, the wind is blowing from the north instead of from the south. It's starting to rain. Something is, you know, the animals are restless. What is going on? We need to say, hey, I'm wondering about so-and-so. Am I making this up, or is there something going on, or something bothering you? And if your partner says, no, I'm fine, which you have all the time, say, yeah, I'm not buying that. I don't think you're fine. I love you. Tell me what's going on. And just kind of persist.
Susan, I think you can save a lot of relationships with some of the answers that you provide about conversation and questions to ask. So for folks who are interested in your book, where do they go?
They can go anywhere. You know, any place, online or bookstore. Anybody that sells books has my books, all of my books. There are 3 of them. And Fierce Love is the 3rd in the trilogy. And yeah, susanscott.io is where you can go to learn about this particular book.
Susan Scott, I wish you the very best in your relationships, your health, everything moving forward. Thank you so much for your expertise. I truly enjoyed the conversation.
So did I, John. Thank you for having me.
All right. Once again, Susan Scott. Yes, indeed. That's interesting. The book is called Fierce Love. All right. Coming up here,